Stay calm, take one step, focus today. Grow tomorrow. Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked at everything on your plate, your goals, your responsibilities, your dreams, and felt completely paralyzed? Not lazy. Not unmotivated. But genuinely overwhelmed by how much there is to do, how far you have to go, and how unclear the path feels. Most people have. And most people never talk about it because they think everyone else has it figured out. They scroll through social media and see highlight reels of people winning, achieving, grinding, and they wonder what is wrong with them. But here is the truth nobody is saying loudly enough. The problem is not that you lack ambition. The problem is not that you are not talented. The problem is that you are trying to climb the entire staircase in one leap, and no one can do that. Not the most successful person alive. Not anyone. Today, we are going to slow that down. We are going to talk about one of the most powerful, and most overlooked, principles for building a life you are proud of. Stay calm. Take one step. Focus today. Grow tomorrow. That is not just a quote. That is a philosophy. And by the end of this video, I want it to change the way you approach every single day. If this kind of content speaks to you, do me a favor right now, hit that subscribe button. Every week, I bring you conversations like this one, designed to help you think clearly, move forward, and build something real. Subscribe and join the community. Let us grow together. Section 1: The Chaos Trap. Let us start with something called the chaos trap. The chaos trap is what happens when your mind is carrying too much at once. It is when your to-do list is so long it does not even feel like a list anymore, it feels like a wall. And standing in front of that wall, most people do one of two things. They either crash, shutting down completely, scrolling, avoiding, numbing out. Or they sprint, trying to do everything at once, burning out in 3 days, and then crashing anyway. Both responses make sense. They are completely human. But neither one gets you where you want to go. The chaos trap is fueled by a very specific lie that our culture loves to tell us. And the lie sounds like this: if you are not doing everything, you are doing nothing. Hustle culture taught us to glorify busyness. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. We brag about how little sleep we got, how many hours we worked, how much we are juggling. And meanwhile, we are quietly drowning. Here is what the chaos trap does to your brain, and I want you to really hear this. When your mind is overwhelmed, it does not function at its best. Cognitive science consistently shows that decision fatigue is real. When we are faced with too many choices, too many tasks, too many directions, the quality of every single decision we make goes down. We make worse choices. We procrastinate more. We feel less capable, not because we are less capable, but because our brain is running on overload. So the first thing we have to do before anything else, before setting goals, before making plans, before taking any action at all, is calm the chaos. Not ignore it. Not pretend it does not exist. But calm it. And calming chaos starts with one simple but powerful act: getting clear. A clear mind is not an empty mind. A clear mind is a focused mind. It is a mind that knows what matters right now, and has the courage to let everything else wait. That is the foundation of everything we are going to talk about today. Section 2: Clear Mind over Chaos. So how do you actually build a clear mind? Especially when life is loud, demands are real, and the pressure does not slow down just because you need it to? Let me walk you through this practically. The first thing you need to understand is that clarity is not a feeling. Clarity is a decision. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait to feel motivated. They wait until the fog lifts on its own. But that is not how it works. Clarity comes when you choose to stop everything, get still, and deliberately sort through what is in front of you. Think of your mind like a desk covered in papers. When everything is spread out and stacked on top of each other, you cannot find anything. You cannot work effectively. You feel overwhelmed just looking at it. But if you take 30 minutes to sort through it, to organize, prioritize, and put things in their place, suddenly you can breathe. Suddenly you know what to do next. That is what mental clarity looks like. And here is how to create it. The first practice is something I call a mind dump. Every morning, or whenever you feel overwhelmed, take a blank piece of paper and write down everything that is in your head. Every task, every worry, every idea, everything you feel like you should be doing. Get it out of your brain and onto paper. Do not organize it yet. Just empty it. This alone is transformative. Your brain is not designed to store everything and also function at a high level. When you offload the storage onto paper, your brain is freed up to actually think, create, and solve problems. The second practice is sorting. Once everything is on paper, ask yourself one question about each item. Does this matter today? Not eventually. Not someday. Today. If yes, it stays on your active list. If no, it goes on a different list, the someday list, the later list, the not now list. And then you stop thinking about those things until it is time for them. This is not avoidance. This is prioritization. And there is a massive difference between the two. The third practice is silence. I know this sounds obvious. But most of us are never truly silent. We have noise running constantly, music, podcasts, notifications, conversations, TV in the background. Silence feels uncomfortable. But silence is where clarity lives. Give yourself at least 10 minutes of real silence every day. No phone. No input. Just you, sitting with your own thoughts. It will feel strange at first. But over time, it becomes the most productive 10 minutes of your entire day, because that is where your best thinking happens. A clear mind is not a luxury. It is the foundation of everything. Before you can focus, before you can take meaningful steps, before you can grow, you need a clear mind. Build the practice. Protect the practice. Prioritize the practice. Section 3. Focus on what matters. Now we need to talk about focus. Real focus. Not the kind of focus that means staring at your phone for 2 hours telling yourself you will get started soon. Real, intentional, deliberate focus. Here is something worth sitting with. Studies on human productivity have found, repeatedly, that the average person works at high focus for only about 3 hours per day, even if they are sitting at their desk for 8 or 10 hours. The rest of the time is distraction, busy work, low-value tasks, and recovery from distraction. 3 hours. Now here is the good news. 3 hours of genuine, focused effort on the right things is enough to build something extraordinary over time. The key phrase there is the right things. This is where most people go wrong. They are busy all day, but they are busy with the wrong things. They are answering emails instead of building. They are in meetings instead of creating. They are cleaning their workspace instead of doing the actual work. They are optimizing their systems instead of executing the plan. Busyness is not the same as progress. Movement is not the same as momentum. So the question is, what actually matters? There is a principle called the Pareto principle, the idea that roughly 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. In other words, a small number of your actions are producing the vast majority of your outcomes. The challenge is identifying which actions those are, and protecting time to do them every single day. Here is a simple exercise. Write down the 3 things that, if you did them consistently every week, would move your life or your goals forward the most. Not 30 things. Not 10 things. 3. For someone building a business, it might be creating content, reaching out to potential customers, and improving the product. For someone building their health, it might be eating clean, training consistently, and sleeping well. For someone working on their mindset, it might be journaling, learning, and practicing presence. Whatever your 3 things are, those are what matter. Everything else is either support or noise. Once you know what matters, the practice of focus becomes clearer. You schedule your highest value work first, in your best hours, with full attention. You protect that time like it is the most important meeting of your life, because it is. You are meeting with your future self. You are investing in who you are becoming. And here is something else about focus that nobody talks about enough. Focus is a skill. It is not a personality trait you either have or do not have. Like any skill, it atrophies without practice and strengthens with repetition. If you have been living in distraction for years, rebuilding your focus will feel hard. Your attention will wander. You will feel the pull to check your phone, switch tasks, do something easier. That is normal. That is withdrawal from distraction. Push through it. Start with 25 minutes of focused work. Then take a 5-minute break. Then do another 25 minutes. Over weeks and months, you will find that your focus deepens, lengthens, and sharpens. What used to feel impossible becomes automatic. Focus on what matters. Say no to what does not. Protect your time and your attention like the finite, precious resources they are. Section 4. One step at a time. Now we arrive at the heart of this entire conversation. One step at a time. I want you to think about the most beautiful staircases you have ever seen, or the most daunting. Maybe it is a staircase carved into a mountain. Maybe it is the steps of a great cathedral. Maybe it is the kind of staircase that seems to stretch endlessly upward into clouds. Here is the thing about staircases: you cannot teleport to the top. No one can. The only way up is one step at a time. Every single person who has ever reached the top of any great staircase got there the same way, one foot in front of the other, step by step, moment by moment. And yet we live in a culture obsessed with leaps. With overnight success. With viral moments. With shortcuts. With 10-step hacks that promise to collapse years of work into days. And when those shortcuts do not work, and they usually do not, we feel like failures. We feel like we are behind. We feel like something is wrong with us. But nothing is wrong with you. The problem is that you were promised a teleporter and handed a staircase. And the staircase is actually the better gift. Because the staircase builds you as you climb it. Every step you take on the staircase of your goals is doing something to you. It is building discipline. It is building confidence. It is building skill. It is building resilience. It is building identity, the identity of someone who does not quit when things get hard, who does not stop when the destination is not visible, who keeps moving even when the top is covered in clouds. So let us talk about how to actually practice the one-step principle in your daily life. The first key is to shrink the step until it feels doable. One of the main reasons people procrastinate is not laziness. It is that the step they are trying to take feels too big. The task feels too overwhelming to start. So they do not start. But here is the solution: make the step smaller. Much smaller. Do not set out to write a book today. Set out to write 300 words. Do not set out to transform your body today. Set out to do 20 minutes of movement. Do not set out to build a business today. Set out to make one phone call, send one email, create one piece of content. Tiny steps consistently taken are more powerful than massive leaps attempted and abandoned. Never underestimate the power of showing up small, over and over and over again. The second key is to celebrate completion, not perfection. One of the most damaging patterns in high achievers is the habit of moving straight from one task to the next without ever acknowledging what they just did. They finish something and immediately focus on what still needs to be done. They complete a milestone and immediately see how far they still have to go. This is emotionally exhausting. And it trains your brain to associate effort with dissatisfaction, which makes you want to stop trying. Instead, when you take a step, even a small one, pause and acknowledge it. Not with arrogance. With genuine recognition. Say to yourself, I did that. I showed up. I moved forward. That matters. Over time, this practice builds intrinsic motivation. Your brain begins to crave the feeling of completing steps. Progress becomes its own reward. The third key is to focus only on the next step, not the entire journey. When you look too far ahead, you get dizzy. The distance feels impossible. The uncertainty feels paralyzing. But when you bring your attention back to the very next step, just one step, it always feels manageable. Because it is manageable. One step is always manageable. This is not about ignoring the destination. You know where you are going. But you do not get there by staring at it. You get there by walking toward it, one step, one day, one decision at a time. Section 5: Progress, not perfection. I want to close with what I believe is one of the most liberating ideas you can hold in your mind as you move forward. Progress, not perfection. Perfectionism is one of the most socially acceptable forms of self-sabotage that exists. It hides behind ambition. It pretends to be a high standard. But at its core, perfectionism is fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of failing. Fear of putting something out into the world and having it not be good enough. And the tragic irony of perfectionism is this: in the pursuit of the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version, people never start. Or they start and never finish. Or they finish and never share. And the world never gets the gift they were made to give. Progress is the antidote to perfectionism. Progress says done is better than perfect. Progress says a flawed step forward beats a flawless plan that never moves. Progress says every version of you that tries is better than every version that waits. Think about any skill you admire in someone. A musician who plays beautifully. A speaker who communicates powerfully. A builder who creates something remarkable. They did not start there. They started somewhere embarrassing, somewhere rough, somewhere imperfect. And they got good by making progress, by showing up, doing the work, learning from the gaps, and doing it again. You are allowed to be in progress. You are allowed to be learning. You are allowed to make mistakes and keep going. That is not weakness. That is exactly how growth works. Here is something I want you to write down if you have something to write with. Ready? Consistent progress, even imperfect progress, will always outperform occasional perfection. Read that again. Let it settle. The person who shows up every day and gives 70%, who takes one step forward even on the hard days, will go further over time than the person who occasionally gives 100% but spends most of their time waiting for the perfect conditions. Consistency beats intensity. Progress beats perfection. Done beats dreamed. So wherever you are right now, whether you feel ahead or behind, inspired or exhausted, clear or confused, take one step today. Not tomorrow. Today. One small, imperfect, real step towards something that matters to you. That is how mountains are climbed. That is how lives are built. One step, one day, one decision at a time. Outro, call to action. Before I let you go, I want to say something directly to you. You showed up for this. You spent this time investing in your mind, your clarity, your growth. That is not nothing. That is the kind of decision that separates people who wish their lives were different from people who actually make them different. So thank you for being here. If this video gave you something, one idea, one shift, one moment of clarity, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because the people in your life who are struggling with overwhelm, with self-doubt, with the weight of everything they are carrying, they need this message too. And if you have not subscribed yet, I want to personally invite you to join this community right now. Every single week, I bring you conversations and content designed to help you think clearly, live with purpose, and build the life you actually want. Not a filtered version. Not a highlight reel. Real, honest, practical content for real people doing real work. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And leave a comment below telling me, what is the one step you are going to take today? I read every single comment, and I would love to hear from you. Remember what we talked about today. Stay calm. Take one step. Focus today. Grow tomorrow. I will see you in the next one.